they want her to be the representation of their racism and you know, like their view on the world, and she's not like that. And I think you have to be careful when you say like the Fever fans.
Did you just see what happened in the WNBA? Alyssa Thomas, known for her no-nonsense style, suddenly finds herself in the hot seat after a massive call-out from a legendary WNBA player named Jonquel Jones. That's correct. Alyssa Thomas would definitely be looking for a hole to crawl under and hide herself because she just got exposed for her lies against Caitlin Clark. And if you thought this was just going to be another beef, trust me, this legend isn't just throwing shade. She's lighting a fire inside the entire league. Stay tuned till the end because I promise you what's going to come is definitely going to blow your mind.
In all of the WNBA, they're playing, and obviously the Fever fans were being the Fever fans.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that she was willing.
What's the deal? Alyssa Thomas had apparently decided it's open season on Caitlin Clark and her fans, talking smack on and off the court, throwing in some physical welcomes that are more wrestling match than basketball. And let me tell you, she has a history with Caitlin Clark. She had not missed any opportunity to downplay her on the court. Don't believe me? Just take a look at this nasty screen she did against Caitlin Clark.
Another look here at the heavy contact.
That is one horrible tackle. And believe me, this is just the tip of the iceberg. She even went so far as to accuse Clark's fans of the R word, you guessed it, racism. Because clearly, being a fan of an incredible rookie talent must be about something else. Let me remind you how she was seen accusing Caitlin Clark and her fans of racism.
It's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base. You know, we had her face on a serious matter that happened in this world, and it's unacceptable, honestly.
Can you believe this? Honestly, if Alyssa thinks she is cooking, then she isn't anywhere near the ground reality. I mean, seriously, let's pause here for a second and analyze this thing, right? Who on earth would actually believe this badly written theater drama? I mean, Thomas's claims are failing her faster than her playoff game. And that's not just a dig, that's facts. She had the audacity to come out in the open against a celebrated rookie and stain her reputation in front of the whole world. And you know what she missed? The thing that matters the most in a logical argument. She didn't forget her car keys, her purse, or even her smug attitude. She forgot to bring the receipts. The evidence that is actually needed to back up her wild claims is nowhere. And I mean nowhere, to be found in this entire joke of her interview. And if you think that's hilarious, wait till you hear the best part. People were on to her the second she started playing the victim card. But don't you worry, Alyssa, because there is someone who's actually brought receipts to this show. That's right, people.
The NBA been dealing with this for years. How does she know for a fact it is Indiana fans? Shaking my head. She should get off social media. Problem solved. She needs to look in the mirror and stop asking others to protect her from meaningless online trolls, as though it's all one-sided.
When Jonquel Jones found out what Thomas was stirring up, she decided it was time to come clean about what was really going on. And for those of you who don't know, Jonquel Jones isn't just anybody in the league. She's a WNBA champion, Finals MVP, and arguably one of the most respected voices in the game right now. Jones let loose in an interview, effectively putting an end to Thomas's antics on and off the court.
The Caitlin Clark fans, they wanted to latch on to Caitlin Clark and then use her as, like, I guess, like this fuel to be able to be the way that they wanted to be, you know? And I think that's why there was such big backlash when she liked the whole Taylor Swift post saying, like, vote for Kamala Harris.
Let's call it for what it is. Jones didn't just bring a water bucket to this fire, she brought the fire trucks along with the entire fire department. She has clearly stated that these were not the real fans. They were just people who were just waiting for an opportunity to derail Clark's reputation and create chaos. And this is not all, guys. As I will soon show, she has also called out the league for letting this nonsense go unchecked, saying it's high time they start protecting players like Clark from this endless parade of nonsense. And the fans are all but here for it. Before we move on, can we just take a moment to appreciate the irony here? Thomas calling out Clark's fan base as racist, while she's been the biggest bully on the court? It's like the kid in school who pushes everyone around suddenly whining about unfair treatment. Come on, Thomas has thrown every move she has at Clark, from body checks to post-game digs. But now that people are starting to call her out, she's playing the victim, and let's just point out how Clark's handling all this, shall we? While Thomas was busy trash talking and body checking, Clark was out there winning over fans with skill, sportsmanship, and a game that speaks for itself. And it's not like the refs are stopping Thomas from practically bulldozing Clark every time they're on the court together. She's taking hit after hit like a pro. Jones didn't just stop at calling out Thomas's behavior, though. She took aim at the entire WNBA structure, saying that the league needs to get it together and protect its stars better. Imagine that, having to remind a professional league to protect its own talent from targeted bullying and bad behavior. The WNBA has a massive following now, thanks to players like Clark. But are they doing enough to keep those fans engaged and excited? Jones doesn't think so, and honestly, neither do we.
Their racism and you know, like their view on the world, and she's not like that. And I think you have to be careful when you say like the Fever fans, because I don't think it's the Fever fans. I think it's the people that wanted Caitlin Clark to be a certain type of way, and they thought that she was, and so they became Caitlin Clark fans, assuming that, and then they realized like, oh no, she's actually not racist. And so now they have to kind of like backtrack and try to find somebody else that can kind of embody.
Jonquel Jones had set the record straight once and for all, shutting down the crocodile tears of Alyssa Thomas. Jones clearly said that those Caitlin Clark fans are not really her fans who start these debates and slander other people online. Caitlin Clark is poles apart from this type of behavior, according to Jonquel Jones. But here's the million-dollar question. If these people aren't real Caitlin Clark fans, let me tell you, they're not the diehard supporters outselling the stadiums and cheering their hearts out. Nor are they the kids wearing the jerseys of Caitlin Clark and dreaming of being the next WNBA superstar. They're not the millions of people watching at home praying for Clark and watching her every day. They're not the fans such as the ones asking for player safety fair officiating and demanding league accountability. These people are nothing but the black sheep, the instigators who couldn't care less about the sport or the WNBA. These bad apples are here for stirring up drama and nothing more. In fact, Clark herself had distanced herself from these types of bad people.
There are so many great players, there's so many great teams, there are so many positive storylines that can be written and celebrated, and for me, that's why I became a fan of this league, is these people were my idols. I grew up wanting to be like them, so I think continuing to uplift and, you know, represent this league in a positive way is the best thing that we can do.
That's correct. These bigots have nothing to do with Clark and her fans. Comparing them and other people is just like saying that all women hate men or all men are sexist. These are all unfair stereotypes that don't have any basis in reality. But on the other hand, Clark has clarified that she appreciates her true fans who come to her games and go through thick and thin with her.
It's definitely upsetting. I don't think nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. You know, those aren't fans, those are trolls, and it's a real disservice to the people in our league, the organization, the WNBA. But there are a lot of really good fans, whether they've been fans for 20 plus years or whether they're new fans in our league. I think continuing to uplift this league in a very positive light.
This really shows you that Alyssa's allegations are only a paper tiger after all. And speaking of allegations, let's talk about the physicality that Alyssa had shown against her opponents, and particularly Caitlin Clark. Fans aren't just watching, they're talking too. And let's face it, they're not exactly happy with the antics they've been seeing on the court. They're calling out Thomas for treating the game like her own personal wrestling ring. When did we start allowing body slams and hits in basketball? Let's call it for what it is. Alyssa Thomas is behaving just like a bully against Caitlin and acting like a crybaby when she's getting exposed. And through it all, Clark's out there just doing what she does best. Even with nearly 20% of league fouls aimed at her,
17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season have been committed against Caitlin Clark.
she's still one of the most entertaining players to watch, breaking records and making the WNBA a must-watch league. And fans are flocking to see her play, not to see her get roughed up by someone on a mission to teach her a lesson. And let's be honest, there's a selective outrage by people like Alyssa Thomas who are quick to call out Caitlin Clark and her fans for an act that they didn't even commit, while they stay silent on the aggressive fouls and verbal abuse hurled against her by players like Dejanai Carrington, Kennedy Carter, and Alyssa Thomas herself.
Here's Clark, 3 to shoot. Gonna have to hoist from the logo, an air ball, and Clark wanted a foul. Felt like Bonner ran into her, but a shot clock violation. Now
Teams are going to pick up Caitlin Clark from the second she touches the basketball. That's what Burton did there. All over Caitlin going inside. I mean, that's a foul.
It's not just the fans who are fed up. Players like Jones have had enough of this selective outrage and fake narratives. She's tired of watching Clark and other top talents get battered without repercussions, and she's not alone. The WNBA is at a crossroads, and the league has a choice to make. Will they step up to protect their players, or let the bullies keep running the court? When Jones says that the WNBA needs to start setting a better standard, she's not just talking for herself. She's speaking up for the entire league, calling for a shift in how we think about player interactions and respect on the court. Because the future of the league isn't going to thrive if fans have to watch their favorite players turned into punching bags every game.
Be in any type of situation where they feel like, you know, their life is in danger or that someone wants to harm them because of the color of their skin or harm them in general. So it's crazy that they had to deal with that.
After this, the fans are rallying behind Jones like never before. Social media's ablaze with people saying it's about time someone spoke up about the hypocrisy and the downright unfairness.
JJ, you are an absolute queen for explaining this much better than anyone I have heard. The only real racist behavior I observed in WNBA this season was perpetrated against Clark by the black players who didn't like seeing the rookie white star getting all the attention.
They're tired of this soap opera drama overshadowing the actual sport. Fans are calling for fair play, for better officiating, and for the WNBA to step in and shut down this endless nonsense. Because let's be real, Caitlin Clark has earned her place in this league. She's proven herself 10 times over, and she's attracting thousands of new fans who just want to see the best of women's basketball.
None of it addresses my point. My point is, she's the golden goose. You have been clamoring for attention. You've been clamoring for more cachet, fair and equitable treatment, chartered jets, weight room facilities, dollars, marketing opportunities, etc., etc., etc.
The WNBA has an incredible opportunity here, but if they keep letting the game get dragged down by pettiness and cheap shots, they risk losing these new fans just as quickly as they gain them. Jonquel Jones isn't afraid to call out what everyone's thinking. The WNBA needs a culture change. This isn't just a one-off squabble. This is about shaping a better future for women's basketball, where talent and sportsmanship can actually thrive. And Jones? She's making it her mission to put an end to the bullying, the pettiness, and all the drama that's got nothing to do with basketball.
I hope that the WNBA gets it in order and make sure that they have like things in place because, yeah, no one wants to play in a situation like that. I don't think it's fair to the players.
And I believe Jay can whoop some ass too.
Jonquel Jones didn't just call out Alyssa Thomas for her behavior on the court. No, she took it a step further, aiming right at the top brass of the WNBA. Jones made it crystal clear. The league's attitude toward racism, abuse, and selective refereeing has been more than questionable. It's been downright unacceptable, and she's done with it. Let's face it, Jonquel Jones is putting the WNBA on notice. She's tired of seeing the league turn a blind eye when they should be stepping in. It's almost like they've got a double standard, a completely skewed viewpoint that lets some players off easy while others face the music. And don't even get me started on the biased calls and selective fouls.
The WNBA would rather destroy Caitlin Clark than build up their league. There's no gratitude there.
Jones called out the WNBA's shocking lack of action when it comes to dealing with racism and abusive behavior. She pointed out that when players like Clark are targeted by fans or opponents for things completely unrelated to basketball, the league needs to step in. But far too often, they stay silent. Jones is saying what we've all been thinking. This isn't just about basketball. It's about creating a safe environment for every player on that court. So here we are, wondering the same question. Will the WNBA finally step up, protect its players, and let stars like Caitlin Clark play without being a target? Will they keep letting this pettiness ruin what could be one of the most exciting eras for the league? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. With players like Jonquel Jones speaking up, it's clear that the days of unchecked bullying on the court are coming to an end. What do you think? Do tell us in the comments below, and stay tuned to more amazing stories from the world of WNBA and basketball. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.